Hey everyone, this is Sydney. I hope everybody's doing well with this cold weather. Back again. Also, happy Thanksgiving. I see that many of us will probably end up staying at home and not around too much family, which I guess can be a good thing because sometimes when you have a lot of family members, there's always conversations that you might not be so fond of, but that's how relations are built. And as we just learned in our last chapter of conflicts, we need to learn how to decipher those and carry on with the conversation so it satisfies both parties. For today's topic, empathy assignment, I will be discussing about my assignment by myself at something that I don't agree with my partner. Unfortunately, he wasn't here to make it. He had to run some errands, but it's kind of okay. And it's a topic that's been ongoing, and I've known him for 8 years now, and he still stands very strongly about this. And it's not a big argument, but it's just two different viewpoints where he has to respect my side of things and I have to respect the side of him. So what I like to shop at big retail places such as Safeway for food and like convenience food. He, on the other hand, thinks that Safeway is this corporate giant that treats people bad and isn't a full sustaining company that's good. A little background about him. A couple years ago, he started eating meat again, and previous to this, he was a vegetarian, slightly vegan for 10 years. And for him to kind of say that, I understand. So I guess the argument is whether I should shop at a big corporate grocery store or whether I should shop locally. So I think, as one of my positions, I think I'm right and my opponent is wrong because he doesn't not do any of the cooking. He does not know exactly what needs to be incorporated to making a whole meal sustainable, especially Thanksgiving, right? You got the pie, you got the bird, you got the stuffing, you have multiple ingredients. And he's wrong because since he doesn't do any of the cooking, then he wouldn't understand what goes into the ingredients that create a meal, all the stuff that incorporates to making everything go right. um, I think that someone that doesn't really cook it shouldn't really put their opinion of where the food is coming from, but that's my opinion. Um, I could say that number two, your opponent is right and you're wrong. Thinking about it clearly, I get where he's coming from because he believes in making everything sustainable and making sure that you're not adding to what they call carbon footprint and adding bad to your body. And you know, based on the fact that I told you that he was a vegetarian, he really feels that sometimes big companies cut corners, um, take off the middleman. You know, just work with the corporations, and both like sustainably and locally. He definitely has his opinion to say, you know what, just go to a farmer's market, shop this, you know, because you're helping your community as well. And I can be wrong because I should be eating of what is locally and should not be driven by just a recipe to support a company that doesn't always treat their employees right, or like I said, crosses off the middleman, and just it's just a big transaction deal. um both positions are right and you both wrong. Well, yes, I think that both of us are right. To be quite honest, I feel that um because I'm the one cooking, I need different ingredients for different things. you can't blame me for going to one store and getting all your necessities in one place. Although he is right, because we should be shopping and eating more locally sourced food. Farmers markets, Trader Joe's, even little places like that, even little grocery, like little Asian markets perhaps, or even the Mexican stores that have like a ton of fruit outside. Those are like, they work with like California grown, right? And we should be really supporting that. um Over the time of the last 5 years, I think we've kind of didn't make it as important, because it should not be an argument. It shouldn't be like, oh, well, I'm not going to eat your food since it's not from here, although you won't be seeing him shop there. And same thing, I'm not going to hold a grudge against him just because he didn't want to eat my food, or it's not sourced from somewhere locally doesn't mean he won't eat it. So we've let our differences set aside, which has kind of not only open my eyes, but also open his eyes, that like we can work this together. Maybe what we actually do, we have a day that's designated for like vegetarian day. Then we have like over the weekend we'll like splurge and like buy hamburger meat, but we've kind of established where a place where we both can like would be comfortable shopping at. Not to incorporate or give him more promotion or anything like that, but definitely Trader Joe's, Lenardi, Sonatos. Those are, although they are a little expensive, but those are places where I can definitely get everything that I need and still feel good about it. And it's really good quality. And if we look at those backgrounds, those are people, those are families that grew up in the Bay Area, where their parents were farmers before Santa Clara Valley came about. They used to be all orchards, and Valley of the Heart's Delight was one of the biggest companies, and a lot of those families come from there. And so if you start thinking of like, okay, well, why I'm gonna support big corporation, well, I could support local people that are from my area. And I think we can't really say who is right and who is wrong, but there is a perspective in all four areas where I have a certain extent of right to say, I do the cooking, I'm gonna shop wherever I want, and he might be right saying, well, you were shopping at the wrong places. And then we can both work and do it the same. And the same thing as like the conflict that we were just talking about is like, what is our goal? What is our common, where are we going to stand? How can we both negotiate so we're both happy and not make it any bigger than it actually is? I'm able to understand his side, absolutely. It definitely took me a while to understand how he was. I think it started, to be quite honest, it started on the basis of how he said it, which I wasn't so accepting. But after a while, after I was able to process, after I did some learning of my own, I've actually read one of my favorite books. It's called Omnivore's Dilemma with Michael Pollan, and it tells you everything about the food industry, especially here in America. Like, it's an ecosystem between like vegetarian, pescatarians, all of us, have a choice to eat, but in the general rule, like if you eat everything, it's a whole in harmony of a cycle of how a farm works. The chickens can't work without the worms, and then it's like a whole ecosystem. And if you were to just exclude one thing, then you're not really having anything in harmony. And then you start to realize about the people behind it, the passion that they put onto their farms and the growth. And why do they continue doing this? Because they want to feed us and provide us good products. And so now I'm starting to see that, like, I don't want to totally like switch over to, hey, I'm gonna farm my own vegetables, but I'm gonna appreciate the person that does and support my community for this. I think the chapter in conflict has definitely helped me a little bit more. So if it was a discussion at the dinner table, such as this Thanksgiving, which I'm going to buy my turkey from Safeway, And I think at least it opens your eyes, and you're going to be able to, it's going to be a healthy debate, because at this point we're not going to fight or anything. It's just a debate that is healthy, and I see the perspective, and I think like now I'm able to also be in a correct position where you can't really blame me. But I don't know, I guess it goes both ways. I hope you learned something new, and I really hope everybody has a amazing Thanksgiving. Yeah, I don't know how to end this. All right, great. Thank you. Bye.